Thursday, July 13th, everyone. Summer is kind of, I would say, almost halfway over. It's so crazy how this is, but welcome to another episode of Haunted Voices Radio. Todd Bates, unfortunately, is having some audio issues, so I'm here doing the show. This is Nicole Strickland. I hope everyone is doing well. Before I bring in tonight's guest, I do want to say a few little announcements. So there has been a brand new overhaul of the WLTK-DB website. Take your time, get on there, same URL, WLTK-DB.com or the letstalk.com. It's brand new, brilliantly, beautifully designed by Todd Bates. So get on there and check it out. Lots of new things and more will be added soon. And again, I hope everyone is doing well. So I want to have enough time for tonight's guest, Aaron Collins of Northwest Paranormal. Now, a little backstory to this. I first went to the Oregon Ghost Conference. I believe it was 2015. I think it was the last year that it was in Oregon City, in Oregon. And that's when I met many fine people up in the Pacific Northwest. But that is when I first met Aaron Collins. And I guess the rest is history. We've kept in touch and we've remained good friends. And so I'm really excited to be interviewing him tonight on Haunted Voices Radio. So without further ado, Aaron, how are you doing?
Very good, Nicole. Thank you for having me on. And Todd.
Absolutely. And you have some really good news.
I do. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's just start off with that and get right into it.
All right. Well, as you know, I had a show called Paranormal Crossings.
Right.
And we did that in 2014. And then we did a show, or I did a show with James Mitchell, and who was part of my team, NW Paranormal Investigative Team. And then, which was a podcast. And then most recently, we started a show with Darren Scholl. And we started that recently called Paranormal Crossings Into the Light.
I love it.
Well, thank you. And so this is brand new. We'd been talking about it for quite some time, and it finally came to light on July 3rd. So we go live every Saturday. Yes. And so we're loving it so far. So, and it's just going to get better. So, and you are going to be on the show here soon.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I would be honored to be on the show. And it is, I was just going to say, it's in studio, correct? So
yes,
you're literally in a studio. That's fantastic. Amazing. And you had
the crazy, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no. That's fine.
The crazy thing about this show is we were going to do this on our own. And the week before starting it on our own, the studio contacted me. And I had heard of the studio, but I didn't know who they were. But I got a call out of the blue and said they wanted to offer me this show, whatever I wanted to do. And so I thought, oh my gosh. And so I met with the studio and said, I'm not going to do it without my two brothers. We were about to start it on our own. And they said, it's your show. You do whatever you want. And so here we are. So
that is amazing. That's an example of, and I say this a lot, the stars aligning just right. It was almost like it was meant to be.
Right.
And it's almost like a synchronous type of experience. And so that's wonderful. And you had your first show on July 3rd. And what time is it again?
2 o'clock Pacific time.
2 o'clock Pacific time. That's amazing. And does it air? It airs live, I imagine, on the website, but can people tune into it? It on like social media and all that?
Yes, Facebook. It's talkcastpdx.com, but they also have a Facebook page. You can also go to our Facebook page, which is Paranormal Crossings Into the Light, but you can also go to YouTube, Twitch. It's also available. It is now video like yours, but also they rip the audio and do just podcast as well. So you can listen to it or you can watch and listen however you like. So.
Fantastic. That's amazing. And I forgot to say with WLTK-DB, we've recently transitioned to StreamYard. And, it takes a lot to get used to, but the show is airing live on the Let's Talk or WLTK-DB YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook as well. And then, of course, archives are syndicated on all the audio listening outlets. So with the show, you're pretty much welcoming anyone from the supernatural or paranormal realm. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Or is there like a certain theme to the show?
No, anything and everything under the whole umbrella of paranormal. So it's a little bit different than what I was looking for in the beginning with the original Paranormal Crossings.
Mhm.
It was more geared towards spirit, more spirit guided, I guess. Now it's anything and everything under the paranormal umbrella. So and we're very excited. Bigfoot, cryptids,
Yes.
you name it.
Yes.
That's what we're going to cover, and people from all over, the professionals, and that's
Yeah.
what we're looking for. So and everyday people, So yeah, we're excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm so proud of all three of you.
thank you.
Congratulations. I can't wait to tune into all the shows and of course, be a guest. That's so nice of you to offer. I wish I
Of
could like
course,
go in studio, but I'll have to do it virtually, which is fine.
yeah,
We're all used to that, right? After this year.
of
So,
course.
since I've known you, you shared with me a very interesting experience that you had. You're willing to share this when you were a child that I guess got you kind of started on the path as a paranormal researcher. Do you want to share that? I think it's
Sure.
very profound. So,
Sure. I was 10 years old. I spent the night at my neighbor's house. And I had his house mirrored exactly my house on the
mhm.
interior. And so I had gotten up during the night to use the restroom. And as I was leaving the restroom, I went to turn off the light. And just prior to turning off the light, a woman passed right by me in front of me going down the hall, and I realized it wasn't his mother, and it obviously scared the heebie-jeebies out of me. She had long, dark, flowing hair, but the most distinctive part of her was she had no face. There was skin pulled over, obviously, but there was no there was no eyes, there was no mouth. There was a part of a nose, but that's all I could see. As a 10-year-old, I was terrified. By
Right.
that point, I turned off the light, ran back to his room, and I was terrified. And that really got me interested. Aside from being terrified, got me interested in the paranormal. So,
That's an interesting encounter. It's intriguing how she didn't have a face. And I've
right.
since you've told me the story, I've actually thought about it. I'm like, I
Hmm.
wonder why that is because you hear of
Well,
that a lot with apparitional sightings. Sometimes they just don't have a face, but every other part of the body is pretty distinguishable. So,
yeah. Well, I actually had a woman reach out to me in, I think it was 2000. Oh, I don't remember. I think it was 2014ish, somewhere around there. But this lady asked me for an interview, and it was for a magazine that she wrote, that she owned and wrote for. She was doing a 1 year anniversary, and she asked me to be part of it. And I said sure. So I told her my story. This was over email, and she said, "I know who that woman was. Not her specifically, but she said, and it gives me goosebumps to this day
oh
talking
my
about it.
gosh.
And now this woman's in Canada, and I thought, what in the world? So she said when she was a little girl, she has abilities, and she, unlike other children, would play in the cemetery. So one day she was playing in the cemetery, and she saw this woman roaming around, and she had no face. So she asked the other children who were spirit children, who's that woman? And they said, that's the unmother. And she said, what's an unmother? Apparently, the unmother is a woman who had passed, and she's been forever looking for her own children, that she had lost her own identity, which hence no face. And I thought about it, and I mean, I had tears coming down my face. Number
I
one,
bet.
because compassion for that woman. I mean, how awful, forever looking for your children and losing your own identity. That's awful to me. And then
Absolutely.
on the other hand is I finally got some answers as to what I possibly of what I had seen all those years ago, and so it was yeah it was yeah it was bittersweet, I guess.
Absolutely. Bittersweet's a good word for it. And it almost parallels the La Llorona. I think it's the La Llorona or the Screaming Banshee, which
Right.
so many claims here in Southern California of that, where actually Elfin Forest up in northern San Diego is a pretty popular hotspot. And there's claims there that people see this woman that is weeping at the stream and at the creek for
Mm,
her children. And
wow.
so, it's closure in a way for you, but yet it is bittersweet. And
Right.
so I'm wondering if any other people have, besides you in that house, have experienced her. Are you the only one?
I don't know. I never spoke to them about it. I never asked them about it. I was 10. And of
Right.
course, we lost contact, so long ago. So,
And I think it's an honor in a way for her to have come to you.
yeah,
I mean, there has
yeah.
to be some sort of message in that. Maybe she knew at that point, assuming she's intelligent, which sounds like she is, that you could empathize with her situation. So I
Well, what's strange is my grandfather built the first house in that neighborhood, and
Oh,
we
okay.
were the first people to live there. So he that it wasn't. I was 10 and we were 5, so it was only 5 years old at the time. So it had to have been connect. She had to have been either passing through or connected to that land. I'm
Right.
assuming, thinking back. So
Makes sense.
yeah. So I don't know.
I just remember talking to you, and when you originally shared the story with me, I wanted to touch on it tonight because I think it's
Sure.
one of those childhood encounters, and it's interesting how you talk to a lot of paranormal investigators and ghost researchers, and almost always there's that one singular encounter that just propels them on their path. It might
Right.
be more than one for some, but I know for me,
Sure.
knew what mine was. And so it's just that's why I wanted to touch base on that with you again tonight. But your team, Northwest Paranormal, what have you guys been up to? Talk a little bit about the team and its origins and what its mission is.
We are honestly we're in a phase since COVID.
Of
We
course,
haven't done
yeah,
anything
yeah, yeah. That's
on
common.
purpose. Yeah, and so I decided to kind of put us in a back seat for a while because so many other things were at play. And so, honestly, our mission is to help others. I think a lot of us started in the beginning. We started in 1998 when I first put this team together, and we've gone through changes since then. People, I'm the only one remaining from the beginning, and so in the beginning, I wanted to do it out of curiosity. I wanted to
Right.
learn, and so now the mission is to help. That's the and to research. We want to learn still. And I tell people all the time, if any paranormal investigator tells you that they know the answer, they know it all, run.
Exactly. That's what I say.
We don't
Exactly.
know the answers. We don't.
Right.
That's why it's called paranormal research. We're researchers. We're learning
Exactly.
all the time. And so, but for me, it's about helping others. I get contacted by people all the time, as well as I'm sure you do, for people that need help. And
Yes.
that's what we are about. So I'm not going to just jump to go and investigate just to investigate. Now, there are times, of course, yeah, we want to go to a certain location because we want to investigate, but we also want to help the spirits too. So that's what our mission is to help others
That's so
respectfully.
wonderful. Very, very wonderful. And you said something, like my team here, we started from the beginning based out of a curiosity and we've evolved, just like you've said,
Mm.
to mainly wanting to help those that are afflicted with this and help the energies as well. And I do want to say that change is good.
Oh
If
yeah,
you talk with someone that does have a team and that team's pretty much been the same since the beginning, then I would question that. Teams
right.
have to go through change and evolve, and that's very healthy. Helping people understand their situation again, we're not experts, but we can help to, I guess, alleviate the anxiety that a lot of people have. And so, mainly, I would say, concentrate more on probably private residents and businesses. But what's
Yes.
your procedure? So let's say someone contacts you, whether it's through email or word of mouth, and they
Hmm.
are having situations in the home and they contact you and they want you to investigate, what is your, I guess, procedure for how you would handle that?
I like to interview people first. I like
Yes, yes.
because of just coming out of COVID. I just spoke to a person who is asking for help, but it turns out she needs help personally. It's not an investigation, and
Yes.
so I've offered her a different type of help. I am a Christian minister also, and so and that's more of the type of help that she needs. But she also needs help spiritually, not aside from the Christian-based stuff. And so I've offered her help with someone else that I'm close to that's also a psychic medium, that she's very open to receiving that type of help. So this person and I are going to sit and meet with her. So it doesn't constitute an investigation. Sure, if this was 20 years ago, then I would have said, probably would have said, well, let's come over, let's do an investigation, because there are objects moving in her house, and there's a couple of other things going on. But after speaking to her quite a bit, I realized it's her. She needs the help. So that's all based on experience. So
Right.
as well as not everyone that contacts you needs an investigation. So and that comes with experience uh,
Absolutely.
and interviewing people. So you have to determine not everybody needs an investigation. Now, once we do the initial interview, then we determine, okay, so what's our next stage? What's the next plan? What's the plan? What are we going to do next? And if it constitutes an investigation, then we'll proceed with that. But we treat everybody with respect, and especially in their home, business, no matter what. And then if there is activity, then we proceed with respect. I say that all the time because I have
I do
seen
too.
others.
I do too.
You and I have talked a lot about this, and
Yes.
that's what I love about you, is that you treat spirits just like you treat people, the way I do, with respect. And I met your mom, so I know how you were raised, just like me.
Oh,
Treat
I
people.
had my days, believe me. Okay, I wasn't
We
all
all
like
have,
roses. Yeah,
right?
but
We all have. But the bottom line is, you treat people with respect, and why wouldn't you treat them in the afterlife with respect? Oh, and that's how
that
we
is
proceed.
that is so well said, and it's a good reminder for beginners and veterans in this field that not every call or email that comes your way is going to end up in an investigation. And a
Right,
lot of I mean technically we are amateur researchers, because really, are there any professionals in this field? But there are
right,
people that are more experienced than others. For
right.
those that are just starting out, they may not know how to waver through this and decide whether or not someone needs an actual investigation, or is it just personal help that the person needs. But it's very imperative to interview, get an idea of the situation, and then go from there and see
Yeah.
what needs to be done. Absolutely. I mean,
You know,
it's you
we
just never
also
know.
had, and we also had a situation where we did an investigation, and there was activity, and during during the investigation, we actually we left an audio recorder running. The couple was inside, and we walked out because I just had a feeling there was something else to this. There was more to this story.
Right.
So we stepped out. We reconvened. We talked about it, and I was actually there as a minister, and I wore my collar. They requested a minister, and so I did, and excuse me. And I don't always go to an investigation like that. Don't get me wrong. I don't just knock on the door with a collar. It's going to scare everybody. But when people request it, then then I'll go. But anyway, so we determined that there was a particular person in the house that is responsible for the activity. So, and it was confirmed when we went back and listened to the audio that was running while we were outside, by the things that the person was discussing with the other person. And one of the people didn't even know that that was happening until that discussion happened, and we thought we knew it. We knew that it was. But then again, it's all based on this is all the investigation part of it, intuition, and
Yes.
based on the investigation, a full investigation. So in this case, we had to do an investigation. So it was determined that this person was actually conjuring demonic entities, and which is why they asked for a minister to come in the first place, because they thought there was something negative happening, but they weren't exactly sure. I knew when I walked through the door there was something negative. I mean, there was no doubt about it. But yeah, that's what happened.
And
And
it
so
sounds like this was stemming from really human energy
it
at
was.
first, right? And so that's
Yeah.
another thing when you go into homes or businesses, it's not always the spiritual realm or the paranormal realm, so to speak, that's actually the cause of certain activity. The
Right.
human element is so important. We
Oh
need to
yeah.
look at how people are actually trying to cause, whether it's on purpose or just inadvertently. You have to
Yeah.
weave through that. I mean, people that sometimes email us, I mean, they'll say that they have experiences in the home, and it's kind of obvious to us that there might be some physical illnesses going on, or maybe some sort of emotional or mental imbalance. And that, for us, I will not even at all attempt to investigate when there's that sort of situation, and we disclose that to the client. So it's a very, very delicate process to weave through.
Right.
But
And then
oh,
there's
go ahead.
cases where, like recently, I had a very family. Okay, she was family, and a very well-known person in the paranormal field, which I can't mention. But she asked me if I could take a case for her. I agreed. But really, at the time, after I agreed to do it and I spoke to the client, I realized, I'm going through a time in my life. I had just lost my mom at the end of last year. And then we're having some difficulties with my father. And so, and some other issues. And so I realized, I really mentally can't take this case on. And I decided the best thing for me to do is tell the client first, be honest, and then go back to the family member and tell her, look, this is what's going on. And because she wasn't really aware of what's really happening with me, and I was honest, and I had to give it back to her. It was only right because she's the one that handed it to me. I wasn't going to hand it to somebody else.
Of course.
And so there it goes with respect, and to know when you can't really handle something, do the right thing. Don't take something on and then do it half-ass. I hate, can we say
Exactly.
that? But
No, it's fine. Yeah, or make situations worse, or taking on a
exactly,
case just because you're dying to investigate. That's,
exactly,
in a sense, exploitation.
exactly,
Clients, they come first. Their
exactly.
needs, their all of that.
And she was able to take it back, and she was actually able to help the client. And that was bottom line. The client was able to be taken care of,
Mm,
and everything was good. Everybody was happy. And so it worked out. So bottom line is, yeah, if you can't do it, just don't do it. Be honest with
right.
yourself, be honest with the person or the people, and just don't do it. You'll be
That's
more respected that way, and you'll feel better about yourself, and everybody will be happy that way. Because you could
that's
really,
salient advice.
you can really screw things up bad if
Oh,
you do things the wrong
absolutely.
way. So
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what your policy is for, let's say someone contacts you that maybe had a previous team come in
mhm,
recently. I mean, that's convoluted too, because you don't know
yeah,
what they did to stir up or potentially stir up activity. You don't know what they did to make
yeah.
things worse, and then you're coming in as a team and you're essentially putting on the cleanup hat. So that's a
Mhm.
whole different ball game. I don't know if you've experienced that, but
I have, and I contact if I know who the team. You and I both know this team, but I can't mention them. But I did have a case like that, and I contacted that team, and it was the client, not the team.
right,
And the
right.
team is very well respected. You and I know these people very well, so I can't mention them. But boy, it was the client, and the client turns out to have gone through many teams here in Oregon, many.
See?
And so
Yep.
yeah, it's not
And
always the teams, it's sometimes it's the
exactly.
client.
And this is where
So
good interviewing comes in, using that
yeah,
intuition. We all have it. Linda Myers just popped in and said great advice. So hi, Linda.
yeah. Hi
uh,
Linda.
but Yeah, I love Linda. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just all of that. I mean, what we do is we'll honestly have a phone conversation at first just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And then when we've gone to the home and have done an on-site, more thorough, I guess, on-site interview with the clients, we've actually found discrepancies, which is interesting. Now, not to say that they're liars, but there have been a couple of cases where we're like, well, you said this, like now this, like what's up with that? So it's like a puzzle that's undone, and you're trying to piece all these pieces together. But the respect thing, don't ever apologize for saying that, because respect in this field is something that's often overlooked. It's not utilized nearly
Absolutely.
as much as it needs to be. So, and you and I, like you said, have talked a lot about that. But being a Christian minister, for those that don't understand, how do you incorporate that into your work as a paranormal researcher, for those that don't get it?
Boy, Nicole, you have really done it now.
Have I
Yeah,
have I done it really?
boy,
Have I opened the can?
uh, so one of the things is
I'm sorry.
one of the things that I tell people is you know, I will never debate with people, and especially other ministers or
Right,
pastors, because I've had them ask me, well, how can you be in the paranormal and you're a minister and you've preached at church and blah blah blah.
right,
Well, I'm not a pastor. I'm not a preacher. Yes, I have preached at church in the past, and my belief is my belief. My faith is my faith. I don't go and stand on the street corner on a soapbox and hand out pamphlets and stuff. I don't believe that that's what God wants me to do. I believe this is what God wants me to do. He wants me to help people that have issues with paranormal, help them to understand, and that's what that's what my purpose is. So if you think about it, do you see Jesus Christ? Have you seen him? I mean, does he stand in front of you? Is he
yeah,
physical?
exactly.
That's my
Yeah,
point. Well, it's the same thing. That's how I try to put it to people in terms that they can possibly understand. Is it's all spiritual. It's all spiritual. So
this
if
is
I
why
can,
I asked you this question, to clear up
right,
the discrepancy, because
right,
a lot of people will just be like, oh my gosh, because they don't understand.
right, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of haters, people from the Bible, and that's okay. I'm not going to try to debate, and I won't. I know what I believe. I know what I've seen. I know what I've lived through and been through.
Right.
And yes, I went to church every Sunday. I led worship for 10 years in front of a congregation, praising the Lord, praising God, and so, I know I've read the Bible and I know what I've read and I know what I believe. So it's all spirituality. I've never seen God standing in front of me in the flesh. So it's all we believe by faith, okay? And
Right.
so it's all spirituality. So in spirits, we don't always, not everyone sees an apparition. Not everyone sees a ghost, or what we call a ghost. So we hear, we can hear things, we can see things move. So it's all spirituality is my point. I can go on and on and on, but that's how I can be a Christian minister and a paranormal investigator. An investigator is what it says. It's paranormal, so it's not always normal, although it's normal to me now. But it's investigating. We're investigating
Right.
the
Yeah.
the instances, the activity, and whatever else is happening. And when I do this, I'm helping a family. That's generally, or people. And more importantly, if I get a call just like you and there's children involved, what are you going to do? You're going to say, well, I don't know. No, you're going to run and help them any way you possibly can, and that's what I do.
And so you use aspects of ministry, and well, almost what I'm hearing, it's like I gosh, it's hard to explain what I'm thinking in my head, but you're taking that inherent goodness and what you've learned from your spirituality, and you're applying that to the paranormal research and investigation, investigative realm, so to speak, and using that to help people, not only living but the deceased as well. And I think that that's so
Right.
wonderful, because you hear people, oh my gosh, Christian minister and paranormal, like, oh my gosh. I mean, I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I went to Catholic school growing up, and my family, I come from an Italian Roman Catholic family, and some of them still practice it. My mom too, she doesn't practice it anymore. at all.
Mhm.
I don't either. I don't practice Catholicism anymore, but I went to Catholic school, and I remember someone said, "Oh my gosh, you're the first person that went to Catholic school that I know who is a paranormal investigator." And it's like, yeah, yeah, but I'm not religious. I'm more spiritual, and that's
Right,
kind of what it's all about. And so
right.
that's why I asked you, because some people would get kind of confused on it, but you
And they have.
clarified it.
And
Yeah, exactly.
some have gotten mad, and that's why I say to
Mm.
them, I had a pastor say this to me a long time ago that I was under when I
There's
first
no
started in
need
his
for
church.
people to get mad. No
No,
way.
and he said, let's just agree to disagree at times.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. I start off by saying, well, let me just say this first. Let's just agree to disagree at times. And then I'll tell them how I feel. Now, I told you kind of the long way, but I'll shorten it for other people sometimes because I don't want to debate. I just don't. I love people. I'm a people person. I love all walks of life. Doesn't matter
Yes, you are.
if it's an animal or a person, or it doesn't matter. I love everybody, and so I just want to get along. Why
And
can't
that
we?
and that shines through. I mean, I know the type of person you are. You're a
Mm,
fantastic person, and a very damn good investigator too.
thank you.
Don't mean to patronize you, but
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
speaking of investigating now, and kind of the field's kind of been evolving as it always does, where do you see it headed? I always like to ask people this. With everything, I guess you can add COVID in there if you will, but COVID
Sure.
aside if you want. But where do you see this entire realm now? Not just ghost research. We're talking about all of the different subcategories, the umbrella of paranormal research. Where do you see it headed?
I think COVID really opened a lot of people's eyes because
Yeah.
we just talked about this on our first show.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
Yeah, because everything everything seems to be a little bit off kilter, and off balance. It just threw everybody off all over the
Right.
world,
Yep.
including animals, I believe. And now
Oh
I'm not an
yeah.
animal communicator, but it just seemed, and here's why I say that, because it threw us off, and animals feed off us, our emotions. So,
Absolutely.
and here in Oregon, I don't know about so much in your area, but there's so much homelessness, so much. It's not funny.
San
Um,
Diego, San Diego as well. It's very
oh,
sad.
it
So
is
sad.
terrible. It is. It's so sad. And so a lot of people have taken to the woods. So what are the
Mhm.
animals doing? The animals are running, and so everything is off balance. And so look at the people that have now switched to during COVID switched to working at home. So and the kids going to school at home online. So people are at home more. So what do? They notice more things. Spirits are even going, what is going on? Why are you here all the time? The animals at home are going, what's going on? So all these things are happening, throwing the universe into a what is going on kind of thing. And so things are
Yes.
off balance. So now there's people, I'm sure, I'm not positive, but I think that people are at home are people are becoming amateur investigators going, okay, so there's all this noise coming from this particular area because now spirits are making noise, more noise than usual, or now people are noticing more because they're home, they're around more. So much is going on, so much has changed, and I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I think that we're probably going to go in a direction where we're going to learn more. I think we're going to find out things now that we didn't know before. We're always changing, Nicole. The universe is changing. The world's changing.
Always.
Everything's always changing. And so I think that we're going to be surprised with what we find out. I really do.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel, and I've talked to many people about this too, and how I describe it. It's almost hard to describe, but you feel this almost cosmic shift going on where you have mortality and the living realm, and then you have the spiritual realms. It's almost like they're kind of merging together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's kind of confusing, but that's kind of how I describe it. And I feel that people are starting to become a little bit more open to spirituality, open to the paranormal. It's becoming more mainstream. I just wish for me that there was this, I guess, large protocol for almost everyone to follow,
Mm.
Not to say that I'm getting off on a tangent here. Not to say that you can't use your individual creativity and apply methodology in different ways. But I I feel that the field's at a crossroads, and it can either go down the road of advancing itself, or it could go down the road of crippling its foundation. So I
Yeah.
think we really need to all of us need to pay more attention to, I guess, our surroundings
Yeah.
and that
And
sort of thing. So,
I'm afraid that the veil is, it might be thinning, you know,
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
what happens when that veil is gone? What's going to happen? You know,
right.
I don't, it's just the thought. I'm not saying I know, or or anybody really knows, but you know, it's just something I had thought about.
Yeah, no, I
So
think about that a lot, and I like to ask people their opinion on it because it's a feeling. You feel it, you feel this shift going on, and it's hard to explain it. Very, very
no,
difficult. But
I agree.
so,
Well,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's just difficult times, you know,
It
and
is. Yeah.
we're those of us that have survived and are surviving, you know, this time, we're in it together. And so rather than turn against each other with violence and all the other stuff that's going on, let's just try to work it out together and figure out a solution and move forward together.
That that's exactly it. I think COVID too, in a way, it's opened up our eyes for those that want to see, and it's almost showing us that there needs more of a homeostasis going on.
Right.
It's showing us that, okay, social distancing, we're social creatures.
Yeah.
And then here we are deprived of that necessity. We're having to be forced to talk virtually. We're all not understanding that.
Yeah.
And it's almost begging us to kind of have that togetherness again, and a sense of homeostasis. And I think that too is kind of causing a lot of the anxiety going on. People just don't know what to make of that and don't know how to handle that. So,
Right. We're
and
social creatures.
right, and it is affecting the paranormal as absolutely.
Hmm.
So, what do you guys have planned? I know you said with COVID, you're taking kind of a hiatus, but do you have any cases planned that are coming up at
No,
all?
what I'm going to do is I'm going to restructure the team, and
Hmm,
I'm going to rebuild. That's my plan. I'm
that's
going to take
good.
a step back, and what I'm going to do is really what I've done is I've worked with. You know, we always talk about para unity. I've worked with Darren's team, which is DBK, and I've worked with James. James has a new team. That he put together, you know, because he's been part of my team for a long time. He and Heidi, his wife Heidi, and so they came up with their own team, which is Guardian Angel Paranormal Society. And
Oh,
here's the
I
thing
love
about
that.
me, I fully support anyone who wants to do their own thing and better themselves, you know, who
Right.
wants to grow. So, you know, I had somebody ask me one time, "Why aren't you upset?" No, why would I be upset? Are you kidding? We're like brothers. You
I've
know, that
never
if
understood that. I've never
no,
understood that.
are you
Oh my
kidding me?
gosh.
And
Yes.
so I fully support that. Anyone who wants to do their own thing, and that's been his dream. And so why would I be upset about that? So, anyways, so they started their own team. They're getting started on their stuff. And, you know, they've already got, you know, done some cases right before COVID, you know, and so so what I want to do is I want to restructure. I want to rethink things because I've done this for so long, and I I've worked with, you know, other teams, and I like doing that.
Mhm.
And so, do I really want to put a full team together, or do I want to continue doing what I'm doing, which I call a la carte? You
I
know,
love it.
and so because honestly, what I do is I go with June when June Lundgren,
Yes.
who, you know, she does demonic removals, negative removals, and stuff like that. But I go as a minister, and because a lot of people who have those type of problems, they want a minister to come, and they like to be consoled. They want to, they not hold hand with them, but they need that comfort, because
Right.
that's a horrible thing. If you've ever been through anything like that, I was attacked at one time by a demonic presence, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy. It was a horrible time in my life, which I really don't want to get into. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So I am more than happy to go with her and do these. And so she does all the work. I do. I'm there for comfort. I assist her in any way she needs, and it works out great. So it's working as a team. Just like she and Wendy, they broke off from my team. They're still part of my team, but they broke off and started Ghost and Girls Paranormal.
Mhm.
And Aaron, we always say that, and Aaron, because I go with them to do these things. And I will say this. Not going to say who, but there is an individual he's like a brother to me, and you know me. When we become super close, you're either my brother or my sister. You know that.
Yes. Yep.
So I have a brother in England. I won't mention just yet, but it'll come pretty soon. I've talked to him in great lengths, and we are going to start NW Paranormal Investigative Team International.
Oh, good for you. That's
So
awesome.
he and I are like-minded. You know how I feel, and so he feels the same way about paranormal investigating. And so we are going to talk more in great lengths, put a team together there, and we're talking England, Scotland, Ireland, the whole bit. And so that's always been a dream of mine. I've done it here. Do I want to continue growing here? I'm not sure. I'm rethinking all that, but definitely international. Does that mean I'm going to go there and run? No, he's going to run it there. And I'll just be a consultant. Am I going to go there at some time? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I mean, if you said no, I'd be like, something's wrong with you, Aaron.
oh,
Of
no,
course.
no, no.
I'm kidding.
Definitely. So I'm excited about that part. That's
That's
always been a
awesome.
dream of mine. So yeah, we'll do it.
Rethinking is great. You know how many times I've rethought San Diego Paranormal Research Society?
I
Umpteen
bet.
times. We've cycled through members, we've had to
Yeah.
change this and change that, add this, it's just all experience and where it's at the stage where you feel it's okay, I'm comfortable with this, then that's fine. But that's
Right.
great. That's
And
great. And yes, get over to England and Scotland and Ireland
oh, I
because
plan on it.
yes.
Christina and I both. I mean, that's one of our dreams, and so
Oh
we're gonna make
yeah.
it happen. And that's not why I wanted to do the international part. But it's just always been my dream to have a team there with our name and our values. And I just so happen to have someone that's very close to me and to her. He and his wife both, and he's phenomenal, phenomenal. And so
That's
I can't wait.
amazing.
He's going to be on our show hopefully soon,
Oh,
even with the
great.
time difference. Yeah, and so feel bad for him, but it's going to be awesome. So yeah, it's going to be great. I'll let you know. I'll tell you privately who it is. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And
so
I'll keep my lips sealed. But yeah, it's
right,
and it's great because people from different parts of the world too have different approaches and different experiences and everything that they can bring to the
yes,
table.
and
So
I
it's
look
great.
forward.
Regional, you have to look at that. Even the East
Yeah,
Coast and West Coast have differing thoughts
right.
and ideals and that and bringing it together. We all learn from each other. And I wish there was more of that in this field.
Right.
So
And that's what I look forward to learning from him. We talk about it all the time. He says, I'm old school. Well, guess what? I love that. I love old
yeah, oh
school. You
yes,
know, I,
absolutely.
I'm not all about all the brand spanking new technology. I don't
I'm
feel
not
like
either.
I have to run out and buy the newest equipment. Well, look what I got. Well, good for you. I mean,
I know.
when I started in 1998, I didn't have all the brand new stuff. I didn't need
You
it.
don't need
You
it.
don't need all
You
that. I
don't
can sit in
need
a room
it.
and I can hear voices on my own, not my own. just
Yeah,
just saying, it's not my own voice. But
we
I
know,
mean,
we
you know what I
know.
mean?
Yeah,
you know, you can do certain things and don't have to. Now, does it help? Sure, there's scientific proof that okay, I don't know about proof, but there's scientific equipment that they've come out with that is just mind blowing, to help
absolutely.
with the paranormal research.
But I
So I'm
think
not
less is
knocking it.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I think. I think some is less is more. Yes, I agree. So
I mean, I'm fine just going in. I mean, I have various, audio and video and all that, but
yeah,
I'm fine just going in a place and having a couple of audio recorders and that's it. My divining rods and I'm fine. I'm good.
you know
You
who's a
know,
perfect example? You and I know both. Come on, you got to think of him. You and I both know him. He's old
Seth.
school, and he takes just basic for the most part, and I'm not trying to be mean by saying this, but starts with a J,
Oh
last
yeah, of
name
course.
D.
Yes, yes.
Great guy, but
Yeah,
he takes
absolutely.
simple equipment and it works. It
It
just
does.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's
That's
just the same
exactly
thing.
it.
So
It's funny. I've been on cases before where you have like maybe 6 or 7 people on the case.
yeah,
Everyone lays, and there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not criticizing this, but
yeah,
everyone puts all their gadgets on a table. Well,
right,
how is a spirit maybe from the 1800s going to respond to all that? That may
right.
make it more anxiety provoking. So you kind of have to think about that too. But I've actually on many, I mean, even at the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, where we've been researching that place for 10
I want
years.
to go so bad.
You will.
I
It's
wanted to go
waiting
when I
for you.
came to San Diego, but we just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, and it's
One of these
closed
days.
still. It's closed still due to COVID, but
Now,
I think they're
yeah,
going to open it soon. But that's right there, a place where we don't
yeah,
bring a lot in and we get great data. And
yes,
personal experiences to me count.
yeah,
Those go in the case report.
nice.
Absolutely. So, it all kind of helps to tell a story.
Oh
So,
yeah,
oh my gosh, this hour has flown by
I
so
know.
fast.
You know,
Congratulations
we
on the
do an
show,
hour and a half
Aaron.
show, and it goes by so fast. Like,
Like
what? It's
this.
time?
I
What?
know. It's like,
I
whoa,
know.
what? 6:53. What?
But you know what, Nicole?
Yeah.
It helps to have such a wonderful host.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh, thank
thank
you
you.
so
I
much.
appreciate it.
So sorry about the audio glitches. I mean, first I had it, and then Todd had it, but it happens.
Well, in a
Um,
few months or so, have me back on or whenever, and I would love to talk to Todd. So
Absolutely. Oh, he's wonderful. He's
yeah,
wonderful.
I can tell.
He's the brainchild behind WLTK-DB, and it's a
Mm,
great family of radio hosts, and it's really a fun journey.
mm.
So, but congratulations on the show. I
Thank you.
can't wait to follow the adventures with it, and then good luck with Northwest Paranormal International. That just rings
Thank
very
you.
nicely. Northwest Paranormal International. It just
Well, don't forget
flows.
the investigative team because there's another Northwest Paranormal. So I had to do the investigative team. So
Oh yeah. Okay, that's right.
Northwest Paranormal Investigative Team. I know it's a mouthful, but international. I
It
love
still
that.
flows. It still
Yes,
flows nicely. So,
yes.
thanks so much for coming on the show,
Thank
Aaron.
you.
It was
I'm
a
honored to be
pleasure.
here, and so thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
A lot of salient advice, a lot of wonderful things for veterans and beginners alike. So thank you so much. Next week, guys, let me look at my calendar. We have Brenda Gansky back on for her second appearance. She's always interesting, grave robbing history, all kinds of great stuff. If you've missed
Wow.
her first show, it's archived as well, so you can catch that. But I do hope everyone has a wonderful week. When you get a chance, check out the new WLTK-DB website at WLTK-DB.com. We're also on Facebook, WLTK-DB, Twitch, WLTK-DB, and of course, YouTube as well with the call letters there. Again, thank you to tonight's guest, Aaron Collins. Oh my gosh, I need some water. My mouth just got dry, y'all. Let me take a sip of water. Thanks to our guest, Aaron. It was awesome talking with you. Can't wait to see you
Thank you.
guys all up there in the
You
Pacific
got to come
Northwest.
back.
It's been like
We're
3 years.
waiting.
I mean, come
I
on,
know.
right?
Well, I got to
Oh
come
my
in
gosh.
January for what? What's happening in January? The
Oh,
Queen.
what
Is it
we're
January?
well, it's not what I've heard. Now, this is just what I've heard with the Queen Mary, that they're shooting for December, January reopening. So
Okay.
it's not confirmed, but that's
Okay.
I kind of figure that. So I'll keep you all posted. But
Please. Yeah.
yeah, it's great. My mom and I just went up there on Sunday, just took a drive up there. It was really wonderful to see her, and we had lunch. So
Oh,
really, really hoping for that. But
wonderful.
yeah, thank you again, Aaron. Say hi to
Thank you.
Christina for me.
I will.
There you have it, folks. That was Aaron Collins, all around good guy. Hope everyone has a wonderful week. And like I said, next week is Brenda Gansky on. You are tuning in to I was going to say the Afterlife Chronicles. My goodness, it's Honda Voices Radio with host Nicole Strickland. Todd Bates will be back next week. Have a great night, guys. Good night.